Now Frank Nobilo, and we must remember that he trails by 5 strokes. This is medal match play, one total against another. And that looked a fairly brave line down the right-hand side. And he's out of bounds, I think. Yes, he's out over where the old railway line used to be. The spectators are not aware of it, but he's actually crossed the sort of gravel piece where the trains used to pass, and he's in near the car park. So he has reloaded. This is his 3 off the tee. So this is really bad news. New Zealand captain. And you can see the annoyance as he picks up and hits the second shot, having hit the second shot miles out to the left-hand side, the strip of rough that divides the 2 fairways, one half of the course going out to the right and the second half coming in on the right.
Back at the 14th, the par 5. Third group out, started at 9:20 this morning. Tom Kite, the American, versus Greg Turner from New Zealand. And Tom will not find an iron shot enough on this hole today, as we've seen a number of them. That is not the place to be.
What?
Now, where do we go?
There, make sure that's
How
ours.
far do we carry it? Do we go down the 6th fairway? That's where he may be looking.
Where's the pin? Oh, come on. You ought to know that.
I don't even know where it is, but not exactly how far. 20 from the right, 31 on. 5 from the
Frank Nobilo, this is his 4th shot. He's played 3 off the tee, out of bounds with the drive, and he's only got what looks like a 9-iron or a pitching wedge for the second shot. He absolutely mad at himself. And a delightful little pitch and an awkward wind, but you can see the pin position here at 16 is really very far forward, and that is a difficult place for today's wind.
Davis Love, second shot to 15. Wonderfully played. Just keeps moving on. But a wonderfully played shot there by Davis Love III. Back at the 14th, Tom Kite, second shot. Must have had a little better lie than I thought there, because he hit what looked like a club with not a lot of loft on it, but I don't know what he was trying to do. He didn't. He's a little closer to the green, but he looks like he's still in the left-hand rough there. Not in one of those bunkers for the man who's won over $7 million in prize money on the USPGA Tour, and at long last this summer won his first major, the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach.
To the 16th, you can see the booming drive of Fred Couples has left him only this. Just a 25, 30-yard lob. And I hope it doesn't swing back. No, I think the wind encouraged it to the top level.
Greg Turner back at the 14th, his second shot after a fine drive. As I said, really with the wind the way it is today, even though it is cold, it's just really been turned into a long par 4 for players of this caliber. Though Turner not really having a good year, played in 21 events and has missed the cut 13 times. He's had a lot of weekends to enjoy different pursuits. And that shot up on the green, just a little short of hole high, but no cinch, 2 putts from where he finished.
Dunhill Nations Cup, and this is Fred Couples, the match USA, #1 seed against New Zealand. Fred Couples at the 17th sends a booming drive down the middle. Couples is playing Frank Nobilo, who in fact has just sent his drive just out to the left into a fairly awkward area, and that's a tough shot for Nobilo, who's really struggling in this game against Fred Couples. The other matches in progress: Grant Waite and Davis Love III, and Tom Kite is playing Greg Turner. Famous St Andrews on a very cold, wintry day.
Grant Waite at the 15th. Tom Kite at 14. This is third shot. Oh, and he stopped that very well. Got in hole high. Tom Kite at this moment 3 under.
Davis Love, he probably saw the misfortunes up ahead of Frank Nobilo. He has taken an iron and gone away down the left-hand side. Not much point toying about with out-of-bounds fences when the hole is playing as short as this. Davis Love III, son of a golf professional. And you can see the spectators and players wrapped up. The players unfortunately have to remember that they have fluid golf swings to search for, therefore they can't put on quite as many clothes as a spectator. Now Grant Waite, he's going down the right-hand side. Well, he aimed right, but I think at the last moment he had another change of thought, turned the club face in, and he's in the rough on the left of the fairway.
Tom Kite for a birdie at 14. Good putt, though, just a little high. Leaves himself one to work a little bit on. None of these are... Just in for a par 5 to stay 3 under and 4 shots ahead of So Tom Kite gets his par there at the 14th, and there's been a little bit of a change in. We have this for an eagle for Greg Turner, which he really needs, and he knocks it in the center of the hole for a 3 with a little polite applause there from the people.
Frank Nobilo, second to the 17th. And that surely was no more than an 8-iron. This bounces in front, the wind taking it on, and that's a wonderful result from Nobilo. It's a thinking man's day today. It's very difficult conditions. The wind constantly blowing, I don't know, 25, 30 mile an hour, that sort of thing. And coming home, it's a question of maneuvering the ball, placing it, using the ground conditions, the umps and the ollers. Fred Couples, this doesn't look more than a 9. I don't know whether Fred's going to fly it all the way, or it was interesting the way the players see shots. If he plays a super shot and it doesn't stop and he ends up on the road, You'll wonder why on earth he didn't play a little chip and run and let the ground do the work. Or, in fact, do that. No, oh well. It's old-fashioned golf today. You see the old course hotel on the right, and the tee, the 17th tee, right below us, and they drive over the corner, and the 17th green way down in the distance with a lovely Alfred Dunhill pavilion on the right-hand side, which is really magnificently set up. I don't think I've ever seen a smarter tented village than we have here, and everything has been put together with a great degree of high class and taste. The old firm's renowned for it. Now there's a tricky shot facing Mr. Couples.
th, and it's going to be Davis Love to play first. He's got a 5-shot lead. 2 under par he is, and that represents very good golf indeed today. He's driven it down the left-hand side on this hole. Plenty of room over there. It backs onto the 3rd fairway. He's just going to a tongue of rough, which the lie could be better. He's got a bit of straggly, longish rough by comparison to the rest. 140 yards to go. The wind off the right and following, so a very difficult shot to control. He doesn't know quite how it's going to come out from there. He's pretty sure he won't get much spin, and he knows it's going to run when it hits the deck.
Come on, wind, bring it back.
Nicely played shot, didn't get much of a bounce. Could have done a little better. But from there, that's okay. And when you have a 5-shot lead, there's plenty to spare.
Fred Couples third at 17, 6 shots ahead of Frank Nobilo. Now what's he going to do here? He's been up and down, wasn't quite sure what to do. It could be the old bread and butter. It is the old bread and butter, absolutely. Probably the best shot to play, particularly as he's so far ahead. He's going to swing hard right, as you see. And it was almost a hit and hope that he didn't really know what on earth to do with it, and he just wanted to get it on the green and not drop more than 1 shot.
If you've just joined us, this is the Dunhill Nations Cup coming to you from the old course at St Andrews. Australia successful in its first round match against Germany. Both Ian Baker Finch and Roger Davis successful in their match, and Greg Norman squaring with Bernhard Langer. So Australia off to a good start, and we're watching the action between the USA, the #1 seed, and New Zealand. Grant Waite playing Davis Love the third, Fred Couples against Frank Nobilo, and Tom Kite against Greg Turner.
Waite was much further away of the two when we were looking down on this green, but he was inside Love. Doesn't get his 3. There's 5 shots difference between these two, and now just 2 holes left to go after this one. And in it goes, the second green over there on the other side.
Tom Kite now, the captain and anchorman at the 15th. Only 2 strokes in it now. Greg Turner putting up a tremendous fight, and there, well, it's a lovely shot from Tom. May just be the nearer.
Nobilo with the honour at the last hole. Seen that picture before. Straight at the big room up the left hand side, bit of fade, and that's a good spot to come in from. And a long drive. This hole, just of all the ones coming home, is a little bit left. The wind, as you can see, across from left to right. It's not behind as it is from holes 12 to 17.
Quickly back to the 17th tee. Davis Love, a mighty hit. I think we might see the 18th driven by either Couples or Love. Indeed, young Turner gives it a whack too. Gives everyone a whack. Right over the top. Is it moving a shade to the right? Needs to, I fancy. Otherwise it might just go into the edge, but unless it goes in, oh, that should be all right, but not the ideal spot to seek out the pin. This is weight, ground weight. It's a nice rhythm, nice slow backswing, and now that's pushing a bit right. Is he close to the wall? He's, well, not a million miles away. Now that, in fact, is a good spot to come in from. If you just look up from there to the green, he's got a chance of running it in quite close to the pin.
Well, here is Fred Couples at 18, and there's no one much longer than him round here, or around in golf at the moment. But the wind isn't really, it's helping a little bit, but it's more across. And he's gone up the other side. It's okay, but the
15th now, Greg Turner for a birdie 3. He's having the most incredible run, and that just didn't. Perhaps it deserved to. Look where it's finished, right behind the hole. Glorious, glorious putt, and he's had the most tremendous run since the 9th. Or indeed the 8th. 3-3, 3-2, 3-4, equal 3 at the last. Nearly another one there.
Frank Noblet, second to the 18th. Now he's just got to get this on the top of the Valley of Sin here and just run it down the green, which is what he's tried to do and has done very well. And that should run all the way down. Go on, ball. That's a very good shot from there. It was a difficult angle to come in from, and he did very well.
Tom Kite now at the 15th is to increase his lead. He's 2 ahead of Greg Turner. It's for a 3. Looks good. Nope, just didn't.
Fred Couples playing the old Scottish pitch and run with a straight-faced club, and not very experienced. You don't have to play that shot in America very often, and it showed. But he's comfortably, he's 5 shots ahead. America really have played extremely well this morning, and it remains to be seen at the end of the day, but I wouldn't be surprised if their golf wasn't by a shot or two the best of all the countries playing, all under par at this stage.
Now we're going back away to the 17th, and the old town stretching away. It really is a very handsome place.
So Grant Waite for New Zealand to play first from the right side, just off the fairway. Semi-rough very short there. He's got the longer of the 2 shots. He's got 200 yards to go. Now he's got a good angle to come in from, but how much control he can get out of that semi-rough with the wind howling behind is really doubtful.
Back to the 16th tee, the last match of this first game. Last game of this first match. And the secret of St Andrews is to drive as close up the right-hand side, almost every hole as you can, which is also the most dangerous side, as all the out-of-bounds and bushes are up that side. But those usually gives you the best shot in. Another big drive by Turner.
17th again. And Grant Waite from the right-hand side of the fairway. Now the flag, you see the gable end of the house just to the left of the grandstand. That's where the flag is, more or less. Will he play a runner? Well, that set off very high, and if he doesn't get it quite right, it pitch in the front and stop. Well, it climbed up, so the result at the end was pretty good, but he ran the risk of it pitching and stopping.
Fred Couples at the last. This for a 3. It's a very good putt straight in the middle, adding injury to insult. He's round in 72 under par.
16th tee now. Tom Kite, interesting strategy for Tom, playing an iron. This hole 380 odd yards, and he's just placing the iron down the fairway. Oh, he's run out of fairway, but past the bunkers. Just shows you how short the hole's playing. Almost drivable if you dare. Big boys on practice days would probably spank it onto the green.
Love with a very long drive at 17. 150 yards to go. And he's attacking the pin. It's a dangerous shot. And just a yard or so short and a yard or so offline, and that likely as not has found that little pop bunker over on the left, the road hole bunker, and very dangerous it is too.
Well, Fred Couples has defeated Frank Nobilo. Couples finishing with a 2 under par 70, winning his match by 5 shots, and Davis Love in a pretty good position as well against Grant Waite. So the Americans looking pretty good.
Tom Kite at 16, second shot. Only a wedge. Oh, and a beautifully used the little face of the bank there to kill the ball dead, and now a putt for another 3. And there's a wonderful start. 2 birdies in the first 3 holes. Took 6 at the par 5, 5th. That's 3 big shots to get up there, and a 2 at the short 8th. Very competent golf. 3 under par for the day.
Davis Love for a 4 at the 17th. He slid it away. 5 it was, so he drops a stroke to par, and Grant Waite has a short putt to get one back, but it would still mean he's 4 strokes adrift with just 1 hole left to play. As Bruce Critchley was saying, the United States team have played very well under trying conditions today. There's been some very good golf, stiff wind, a strong wind, and quite cold. On the whole, it's a bright day. Yes, well done. That's a nice 4. 4 for Waite, but 4 behind with just the final hole to play.
With the light we've got today, there's some wonderful views to be had at St Andrews, and even there, looking straight down, you can see the high humps and the slightly greener hollows. This crumpled landscape. Now this is a shot. He's hit a huge drive. His 16th hole is 382 yards. He can't be more than 50 yards from the putting surface. He's actually too close to pitch it all the way. He can only really play a bumble run. And that's going to be back in the dell in a second. And really, he drove too close to the green. We saw Kite take an iron for safety, which just put it in the fairway. But of course, what that enabled to do was hit a harder shot and get more backspin with it. So a great and grand drive, but it really it's one of those holes, the closer you get to the green, the more difficult the little second shot, unless you can drive to about where he is now, in which case you can get the putter out. And the second pin you can see at the top of your picture there, and the bunker really guarding the left-hand side of that as you come up from the opposite direction.
Grant Waite, the 18th. Started down the left, wind sort of helping and left to right, but I fancy if one of the big boys was to really catch a drive and it was to land on a downslope, I still think the green is just about drivable.
7 shared greens at St Andrews, and if you take the sum of the numbers of the holes, they always add up to 18. So 2 goes with 6, 3 with 15, 2 goes with 16, 3 with 15, and so on. And an awkward putt here for Greg Turner. He's about 2 or 3 feet below the level of the green where the pin is, as he's going to run 2 or 3 different ways, mainly from his left, then come back a bit as he gets closer to the hole. Good putt. Good try. He's 2 adrift and his side is virtually out of it.
18th tee, Davis Love. If he clatters one, and he, oh, that's clattered it, but has he gone too straight? Here she comes. No, it didn't get a real shoot forward. He's up the right side and probably about 25 or 30 yards short of the edge of the front of the green.
Tom Kite virtually to make his match safe. This would give him a 3-stroke lead. No. He played his best golf going out to be out in 34. 2 under on undoubtedly by about 4 shots harder of that stretch of the course than coming home, I would think, taking the breeze into consideration.
Can this ball go right?
The eyesight's not too bad, Tom, isn't it? Golfers are made, they're a wonderful breed. They can convince themselves it wasn't them. Never hit a bad shot in their life. God damn. Count the millions in the bank, Tom. And the major on his mantelpiece. So important for his own pride and satisfaction, and to have really a chance of doing something about his game for Greg Turner here. This to stay within a couple of shots. Oh, I thought it was sneaking by the left. So gets his 4, but again after that tee shot it'll be a bit disappointing, a bit irritating, and he remains a couple shy. But always anything is possible down 17. And he and his colleagues will rue their poor play, relatively poor play over the first few holes, but that's when really American put their foot on their throat and never let up.
And that putt is from Davis Love III to wrap up his match against Grant Waite to give the United States a 2-0 lead in this match against New Zealand. The only pair remaining on the course, Tom Kite and Greg Turner, who should be just about due to tee off at the 18th. So Davis Love going out with a 70, 2 under par, and has played some pretty good golf in difficult conditions.
Wait for a 4. Oh, that was the old Doug Sanders putt, wasn't it? And that's it, another victory for the United States.
So very good day indeed for the #1 seeds. Victory 2 for Tom Kite, who parred the 18 for a 71. And Greg Turner bogeyed 18 for a 73. And that the closest of the 3 matches, but victory to the USA by 3 matches to 0, and a very comprehensive one too. All 3 Americans under the par. And of the 48 golfers here today, only 8 bettered par, 3 of them from the US. Also in Group 1, Ireland against Korea today, and that of course finished fairly controversially with the disqualification of Namsen Park. He was found guilty of playing a provisional ball at the road hole without notifying his partner, Christy O'Connor Jr., and the match which looked as if it was going to have to go down the 19th was in fact given to Ireland by 2 matches to 1. Victories for Philip Walton, but defeat for Ronan Rafferty, and Christy O'Connor winning after Park's disqualification. We haven't seen Ireland today, but we most certainly will tomorrow, because they're in action against New Zealand. Into Group 2 then, and Spain had to go to the 19th hole of Jose Maria Olazabal's match with Silvio Grappasoni. Olazabal won at the 19th to give Spain victory by 2-1. The best round of the day, Miguel Angel Jimenez's 69. That's really excellent golf, 3 under par on this difficult day. Easy win over Giuseppe Calli. Constantino Rocca beating Jose Rivero, but Spain the victors by 2-1. And also in Group 2, England going through again at the first extra hole. David Guilford with a superb approach to the first to see off Nobumitsu Yuhara. Stephen Richardson's fine 70, enough to give England the point there. And Jamie Spence, the English captain, crashing by 7 shots to Hiroshi Makino of Japan. But England through 2-1. And in Group 3, the host nation Scotland comfortably through, 3-0. Victories for Gordon Brand Jr., Colin Montgomery and Sandy Lyle against Canada's Danny Mijovic, Brent Franklin and Richard Zokol. And also in that group for the defending champions Sweden, who found it tough early on against France but eventually came through thanks to the wins by Per-Ulrik Johansson and Anders Forsbrand, despite the fact that Jean van de Velde, that very promising young Frenchman, had beaten Robert Carlson in the first match out. And finally in Group 4, Australia beating Germany by 2-0. The match between Greg Norman and Bernhard Langer finishing all square. No need for them to play extra holes, of course, since Roger Davis and Ian Baker-Finch had both pulled off comfortable wins against Heinz-Peter Thule and Torsten Gideon. So the number 2 seeds winning 2-0. And in the match we didn't see, South Africa really found it fairly simple against a Thai side who obviously never got to grips with the conditions. The closest match, the one between John Bland and Santi Sofon, only 2 shots in that, but easy wins for Ernie Els, 5-shot victory over Bunchu Ruenkit, and for David Frost, who won by 7 from Thawon Huarachant. And of course we will most certainly see the South Africans in action tomorrow against Germany. So there we are, that's all of today's results. Remember that it is a round-robin format this year for the first time in the Alfred Dunhill Cup, and the group tables look like this, with the USA, of course, leading the section, also with Ireland on 1 point, but the medal score will become important if there are teams level on points after 3 matches. So tomorrow's programme in Group 1, the USA play Korea and Ireland play New Zealand. Group 2 table, Spain and England, today's victors. And Spain just with that 1-shot advantage in terms of the medal score over England. But those 2 countries in action again tomorrow, of course, with Spain meeting Japan and England meeting Italy, the 2 seeded countries in each group, in this case Spain and England meeting, of course, in the final sectional match on Saturday. Group 3, it's Scotland and Sweden who are today's winners, and tomorrow's programme we'll see Scotland playing France and Sweden meeting Canada. And finally in Group 4, Australia and South Africa collecting the point for victories today. And tomorrow, of course, our programme will see Australia meet Thailand and South Africa meet Germany.
And would be very disappointed if Australia can't get over the top of Thailand on day 2, round 2, which you'll be able to see right here commencing. Well, we'll have a look and see what time we bring it to you. Around about midnight. Check your local guide just to make sure. That's day 2 for coverage of the Dunhill Nations Cup from that beautiful course at St Andrews in Scotland. Let's hope for the players' sake that the conditions are a little better than they were today. Now, when we come back after the break, the sport continues right here as we go to the Sky Dome in Toronto for Game 6 of the American League Playoff Series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Oakland A's. Join us right after the break.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.